That's the way Johnny Williams was killed? Yes. Find something? Animal tracks.
Whoever is bitten by a werewolf and lives becomes a werewolf himself.
Oh, don't hand me that. You're just wasting your time.
The wolf bit you, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he did. You wouldn't want to run away with a murderer, would you?
Oh, Larry, you're not. You know you're not.
I killed Bela. I killed Richardson. If I stay here any longer, you can't tell who'll be next.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to 31 Days of Monster. Today is episode 21, or day 20, rather, I should say. We're going to be discussing the 1941 classic, The Wolfman. Now, this movie, the title, The Wolfman, had been kicking around since 1935, and it was originally supposed to be for Boris Karloff, but he was busy doing Bride of Frankenstein, and it sat. Robert Florey, who was supposed to be the original director of Frankenstein, who went on to do Murders in the Rue Morgue, was supposed to do The Wolfman as well. But nothing came of that. And then in 1941, they dusted off the title. They gave it to Kurt Siodmak, who took a whole new spin on it. So there's a lot to say and talk about this really great classic movie, but I'm not going to do it by myself. Tonight, we're going to bring in my pal Billy Tucci, artist extraordinaire and monster lover supreme, the one and only teen werewolf sensation, Billy Tucci.
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm good tonight. I'm good. I got hair coming out of my neck. I'm not sure if it's a full moon or, you know.
Got my badass Sideshow Collectibles Wolfman.
Nice, nice.
I'm never taking it out of my. I got you get the black and white or the color edition, and of course I opted for the colored edition.
Oh, very cool. I love the bear trap.
Yeah, the bear trap too. You know.
Does it come with a cane too?
No, I didn't even think about it. No cane.
Oh,
it's just a tree, a limb.
Oh, okay.
Great. Look how great. I got it. Jack Pierce, huh? Man.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll definitely be talking about him. But I got two questions to start you off with.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell everybody first why the Wolfman is your favorite monster? And two, do you really think that Lon Chaney Jr. could possibly be the son of Claude Rains? Is anybody buying that?
Yeah, not at all.
I want to see his mother. She must have been like 6'8".
I know, because I think he's like shorter than me. I think Claude Rains probably like 5'6", right? 5'7".
I think he is. I think he's 5'6".
Yes, and he looks tiny. Even when he's walking up the stairs in that one scene.
Yeah.
With Larry, and it's like, Lon Chaney's like 2 steps beneath him, and he's still taller than him.
Yeah.
Below him, but
yeah.
But yeah, what a grand film. I love the film. I consider the Wolfman my favorite monster because I have another favorite cinema horror, if you will, whatever creature, and that's the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Okay.
I don't consider the creature from the Black Lagoon a monster. I think that we're the monsters in that movie. Men is the monster. He's just trying to live a peaceful existence and catches, and look at you, Julie Adams, one of the most beautiful women that ever walked the earth.
Mhm.
with her, I think Jennifer Connelly got those eyebrows from her, like wanted to be like
Right?
that. Yeah, gorgeous. And but I just love the Wolfman. I love werewolves. I've got so many books, dozens of books, and I got my little Wolfman model over there, if you can see. And I just, it's just something, I don't know. I always wanted Wolfman makeup. Again, that's why I do this. Because that's like, remember with the fangs and all. I remember drawing it. I know I can draw him from scratch right now. And maybe that's something we should have done, is had the camera there, and we should have drew a monster. If you have another episode and you have me on, maybe we'll sit with camera on the thing and draw a monster. But I just, I loved Lon Chaney Jr. He was my favorite. Him and Errol Flynn were my favorite actors growing up. Just because Lon Chaney was, a monster guy, and being like you, a monster kid, collecting famous monsters of Filmland, watching every movie you could, staying up late. They would have our local movie theater once in Halloween time, they would have sci-fi and horror films on Saturdays, and we'd go and if you caught like the Wolfman on television, or Frankenstein, or the Bride of Frankenstein, I mean, it was a true gem. It was an event. You saw it in the TV guide. And again, look at that makeup. And I guess I'm a novice student of this film, and I just adore it. It's a short film. I think it's 107 minutes long, only something like that, which wasn't uncommon at the top for the time.
I think it's only 87 minutes actually.
Oh, is that what?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not even. Oh, it's an hour and 7 minutes, right? Yeah, it's an hour and 7, right? It's an hour and so it'd be 77 minutes, right?
Let's see. Let's see if the runtime. See what it says here. 1 hour. It's 70 minutes. 1 hour and 10 minutes.
70 minutes. So yeah, wow. I mean, it goes like that. Personally, I wish he would kill some more people. The ending is, again, I don't know the budget, what they had or anything like that, but the film looks fantastic. The cinematography is great. But I just wonder, you think of the glory of Frankenstein, and Dracula, and the budgets they had for those films, all those films in the 30s. And I would just love something similar to Curse of the Werewolf, which is a far inferior film. What great makeup, the second great makeup. And I just love how he went full wolf with it, with Jack Pierce, who I believe Jack did the same makeup for Werewolf of London, and that was who's that? That's not
Henry Hull.
Henry Hull in the Werewolf of London. But Henry was a character actor, and he didn't want his face, too much of his face exposed. And now that they allowed the makeup master Jack Pierce, go not if you have a segment that you want to talk about the makeup or something, and we could get into that, but.
It's funny, when the original script for this was, again, and I've talked about this through a few of these movie things that I've done, is that these directors and writers back in that period did not want to show the monster. I don't know if they had no faith in it, or they felt that it cheapened it for whatever reason, but they always got overruled. And the same thing here. The fact that Bela, when he's a werewolf as a dog, or he's a wolf rather, is still a throwback to the original script, which was all going to be psychological. It was going to be Larry thought he was a werewolf, but never actually physically changed.
Oh.
And then the studio decided, well, no, we can't do that. We're going full bore here. And, so there's still little clues in the film that indicate that it wasn't initially supposed to be the monster, that we're not supposed to see the monster. And that's the only explanation too for why Bela is a wolf and he's a wolf man too. It's like a concept.
I wondered if it was a generational thing. I wrote in college, I wrote a story, Born of the Moon, which is like, maybe I'll do it as a graphic novel someday. It's my werewolf story. I have that the young kid who's a college kid or something like that. And he falls in love with a woman, who's from a family of werewolves, and he's bit by, say, the villain, which would be, I guess, her boyfriend or something at time. But he's more wolf-like, because as the generations go, as you get farther from the source of the bloodline, the more human you get. You know, you're more human in appearance and all. And I kind of thought that, and I got that from the Wolfman, because maybe Bella was not bitten by it. He was born a werewolf, and that's why he's more dog-like. But you know, your analysis makes a lot more sense.
Now the dog, or the wolf, was actually Lon Chaney's dog.
Really?
Yeah, that's his dog Moose.
What kind of dog was it?
It was a German Shepherd, a giant German Shepherd. Yeah. There's pictures of him on some of the Mummy movies. There's a great publicity shot of Lon. I think he's in the Mummy getup, and he's got his head. He's laying on the ground in his head in an ice box because he was so hot with all that shit.
Yeah.
And Moose is standing there licking him. Moose got killed on the set. He got run over by like one of those golf carts they drive around the back lots with.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he ended up getting run over.
Man, you know, I love the transformation scenes, or lack thereof, aside from his feet, you know, because I liked at the end, I thought it was a nice touch that he does, you know, even though we don't see him turn into the wolf, the Wolfman, we see him, you know, have it leave him when he dies. I thought that was a nice touch, because he really is a tragic character, the poor guy. You know,
if you think about it, the entire Talbot family is cursed, because what brings Larry from America back to Wales, or wherever this is supposed to be, was the death of his brother.
Yeah,
in a hunting accident, and he's got this horrible relationship with his father that they're hoping to reconcile. Then, you know, and he's this happy-go-lucky guy, you know, sort of this American guy, and he ends up getting bit by this werewolf, which completely screws him up. His father ends up killing him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the whole family is cursed. There's a lot of pathos and strong emotions in this film. That's for sure.
Yeah, it really is a tragic, and you really do feel for him, you know, it's a beautiful film to look at. I love the lighting. I don't know who the cinematographer is. I pulled up the Wikipedia, but Joseph Valentine.
Okay.
And just stunning, you know, but what a great cast too.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about the cast.
Yeah,
I mean, this is an A-list cast.
Yeah.
For any studio, but particularly for Universal, which was churning out, you know, maybe high-end B movies at best.
Yeah.
But we start with Lon Chaney Jr., who went on to become, you know, a great monster actor and dramatic actor as well. But he was just getting his start then. But we got Claude Rains. Yeah. You know, a two-time Academy Award winner down the road. William Warren, who was a big star over at Warner Brothers. Ralph Bellamy, a future Tony Award winner and an Academy Award winner.
And isn't it great seeing a young Ralph Bellamy?
Yeah, yeah.
Because you're used to seeing him as the older, you know, the older guy, the posh, you know, wealthy guy, and here he is as just some tough cop, you know, or he's not even whatever he is. He's the sheriff.
Son of a bitch from The Professionals.
Yeah. Great. And then you have Patrick Knowles. Right. Who was one of Errol Flynn's crew, one of his drinking buddies, and he was with Errol in, Charge of the Light Brigade. He played Will Scarlet in Robin Hood. Yep. He was in They Died with Their Boots On. He was in the Seahawk, I think, and he's one of Flynn's pals, you know. Yeah. And
he was brought in by by Warner Brothers to be a threat to Errol Flynn, to calm Flynn down, saying, "Look, man, if you don't straighten up, we're going to replace you with this guy." But Knowles was already a pal of Flynn's, so he was having none of it. He was just glad to be in Flynn's films, and they were out carousing together.
Yeah. I mean,
that didn't work out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Great stories with that. And then, you know, Evelyn Ankers. I mean, man, what a dish. Beautiful.
Yeah.
There's that great publicity still of her upside down. If you ever see it, she's laying back and her hair is flowing and he's like crawling over her. I wish I grabbed it. And it's just what a beauty.
Well, if you're such a fan of The Creature, you know who Evelyn Ankers was married to? Richard Denning.
Was she really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Richard Denning was her husband even back then.
Wow. I did not know that.
Oh, now you got to tie in between your two favorite movies.
Yeah, look at that. Do they did they stay together for a long time? Let me see.
They
Oh,
married.
nice.
They married till her death.
Holy crap! You're 1942 to 1985.
Yeah.
Look at that. I
She
bet
died
I know all about Richard Denning. I bet you I could tell you a lot about him. He's like William Wellman and Dan Duryea, you know, special kind of guy, like a real, real good guy, and just that's nice.
Yeah,
that's
good
nice.
stuff.
And
we got Maria Auspinskaya.
yes, and the tragedy of her life, right?
Oh yeah.
That if you want to tell the people.
Oh, you tell them.
Yeah, Maria, is it Unspinskaya?
Auspinskaya.
Auspinskaya.
Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. It was after a long, hard days of work. She was such a great character actress, and she was in a lot of parts, things like that. And she fell asleep in bed smoking, right?
Correct.
And the cigarettes caught the sheets fire and everything like that. And she went.
Yeah. She didn't die from that. She died 5 days later from a stroke, but caused by the trauma of the fire. But she smoked so much, they said when she went swimming she would smoke.
Wow.
Yeah, she'd have a cigarette in the water and she'd swim, and when the cigarette would go out, she'd get out of the pool, get another cigarette, and go back in.
Oh my God, I wonder how old she was. She was only 73. Man, did she? That was 1949.
Yeah,
she looked 83 in the Wolfman.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
8 years earlier. How about
then, of course, we also have one of the kings of horror, and today's his birthday, so let's all wish a happy birthday to Bela Lugosi.
Yes.
The great
drink. We should have something to drink to toast Bela.
We should. I only have water here next to me.
Me too. What's wrong with us? What happened to us?
Old.
And too much work. I think we're being whoever would have thought, Graham, that you and I would become the grown-ups of comics.
Well, speak for yourself. I still deny that title.
Yeah. Yeah, but you don't get in trouble and shoot your mouth off and stuff like that, and
right,
have meltdowns and get triggered and stupid crap like that happens so much. So, but Bela, man, just again, look at him, and now this is 10 years after Dracula. That was a hard 10 years for Bela.
Yeah. And when he was Dracula, he wasn't a spring chicken either. He was all 40, 41, 42, something like that, when he made Dracula.
Well, and we missed you on our Century of Horror, and we're looking forward to you coming back when we do it on. Are you coming on it with us on the 30th? Because we're not doing the 40s, because we did 1931 to 1930 to 1934. It was supposed to be. And there's just so much going on in 1931 and 1932. We didn't get past 1932. So our show on the 30th is going to be 33 and 34, which is again another monster explosion, a horror explosion.
Okay, send me the list. Send me the list.
Yep, I will for sure. Yep, I think we'll send you all that, and it was fun. It was a good conversation. We really got into the 30s, and that was the birth of the universal horror movement. The monster movement. Right. And this is 10 years later, still going strong and looking fantastic. And again, you said Wales or what? I don't know. Kind of looks like Southern California to me. But again, just beautiful. The sets, the atmosphere. That cane. I wonder where that cane is today.
Look at that.
Just
now in this scene where he first attacks her and she faints and he drops her, and then Sir John comes. Yeah, she's laying down in this fog, and it was pretty toxic, that the chemical they used. She passed out.
Oh no way!
Passed out in the fog there, and nobody could find her. They didn't notice her was missing as they were filming the other scene. Finally, a technician came by, and he's like, "Where's Evelyn?" And they found her on the ground unconscious.
Oh my gosh!
from this fog stuff.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah,
that's terrific.
Hey, did you notice here the Wolfman's wearing his shoes in this picture?
Well, yeah, because his hands are different too. So and he doesn't have the makeup on his neck, and I think he had his makeup on his neck as well. So yeah, it's obviously a publicity.
Promo shot. Yeah, publicity shot. Yeah.
Yeah, it was strange. It was strange too. I love how his ankles, to give them more paw-like,
Yeah.
But when he's running, in the beginning he starts doing that, but then it's kind of like he just, I'm not doing this. It's stupid, and then he's going down. But I mean, he sounded great. His growls, it's just I love this film. I just love this film, and maybe because it was so short, I guess as a kid, it's one of my favorites. What?
It gets in and out quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not into this movie more than a few minutes before you're already hit with, oh, you don't know the legend of the werewolf, and then they start hitting you with, even a man who's pure in heart and all that other, stuff that never existed.
Prayers by night.
Yeah.
Was it even a man who is pure at heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright.
Right.
Okay, you got a question. Brian Shockey says, wasn't Bela Lugosi the Frankenstein monster in Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman? Do you want to answer that one?
Oh, yes, he was. They were originally going to have Chaney do both parts in that film, but they realized what a logistical nightmare that would be.
But did Chaney play him, though, in several scenes in that? Because Bela wasn't physical enough to do it.
He says he did, but it wasn't. It was Eddie Parker.
Oh, really?
The stunt man. Chaney made that claim in Abbott and Costello Meets Frankenstein too, that he played the part of the monster. But he beefed it up to say that he wasn't. It wasn't Bela or it wasn't Glenn Strange. But in fact, in Abbott and Costello Meets Frankenstein, Glenn Strange twisted his ankle, broke his ankle, and the sequence where the monster throws Lenore Albert out the window,
right?
That's Chaney.
Oh, wow. Okay. So he did it in Frankenstein Meets the Wolf. I mean, Abbott and Costello Meets Frankenstein.
Yes.
Was Chaney who did play the monster in that?
Yeah, for that sequence. Yeah. Just for that sequence.
Right,
and then he turns and he chases towards the camera, and you could see clearly that it was that it's Chaney just by his body motions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Chaney's the only guy to play all the monsters.
Yeah.
Played Dracula.
Yep.
Frankenstein. He played the Mummy.
Yep.
And he's the only one to ever play the Wolfman.
Yeah. And I didn't think that Lugosi was really that strong of a Frankenstein's monster. I thought Glenn Strange was great.
Yeah.
He really was. I mean, he wasn't that Karloff, of course, that and Karloff really should have won the Academy Award for that film.
For the first one, Frankenstein.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
that's my favorite. This is yours. Yeah. Frankenstein's my favorite. Frankenstein never looked better than in that first movie when Karloff was a struggling actor with no food in his belly. he looked cadaverous, and the makeup was so dead on. It was just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and didn't he have something in his teeth? He had falsies in his for molars.
Yeah, he had a bridge.
Yeah, a bridge, and he pulled them out, right? So we can have that.
Yeah, that sunken thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the time they got to Bela, they used makeup. They put almost like a vanity mole there.
Yeah, that's right.
It was very weird looking.
Yeah, Glenn Strange had mole, right? Right, Glenn Strange had the mole as well.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he did. Glenn Strange looked great, though. I mean, outside of Karloff, Glenn Strange was the best looking Frankenstein ever.
Yeah.
I mean, he was big. He was he had a craggy face.
Yeah.
And the irony is that when Boris died, his obituary in the paper had a picture of Glenn Strange as the him.
Oh my God! Oh,
I know, right?
Humanity.
Yeah, because that was the face of when they did released the horror movies in the 50s on that TV package. They sold it with the imagery of the Glenn Strange monster and the Aurora model kits. They used the Glenn Strange monster and posters and puzzles and all that other licensing was all the Glenn Strange thing. So some lazy guy at a paper pulled Frankenstein thinking it was Boris and it wasn't.
Yeah, Glenn Strange. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
And speaking of that makeup, we could go back to, and I guess, and correct me if I'm wrong, Frankenstein really was one of Jack Pierce's earliest films, right? Because Chaney Sr. died in 1930, didn't he?
Yes.
And he was like
Yes.
Dracula, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so he died, and then they bring the Jack Pierce, this makeup artist at Universal, and then just what he did, he just went off the rails, and he just created these icons that are still universally, no pun intended, recognized throughout the world.
Well, he did The Man Who Laughs too.
Oh, did? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did that. He did Conrad Veidt's makeup for that. He also did Dracula. He did Bela's makeup in Dracula, but there's nothing much to speak of there.
Yeah.
And then there was a movie he did prior to. This is the one that set him on the path, where something about monkeys. It was like the stuff that John Chambers did 40 years later for Planet of the Apes, but Pierce did this in like late 1920s. Something with a monkey.
I'm not familiar with that. Was it a horror film, or is it just like you had just an ape and an actor was playing an ape?
I think it was an intelligent ape. Let me see if I can find something on that.
I guess if you could go to Jack Pierce credits, right?
Yeah.
Well, let me go there and do that too, because this is fascinating. Let's see if we got Jack Pierce cast.
Oh, there it is. I got it.
Oh, look at that image. My gosh. Wow. I'm just looking at the publicity photo of Chaney in the makeup with that underlighting.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Hold on a second. I found the monkey. You got to see this.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that something? I mean, it's
like my Uncle Edgar, actually.
I mean, that looks like it looks even better than some of the John Chambers stuff for Planet of the Apes.
Is it? There's no large photos of it. What film is it called?
Let's see. The Monkey Talks.
Ooh.
1927. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah,
that is crazy. I mean, just the innovation back then. And I wonder what that was made was. I guess that's early latex, right? Because they did use latex. He did use latex for Frankenstein, right? But he had cheesecloth. Is that what he padded?
No, he did not use latex. He used collodium and cotton and built that head up out of that. Latex, he did use a rubber-like latex for the Wolfman's nose, but everything else was built up with that stinky collodium, which is like it's like an ether-based.
Oh
product.
wow!
Yeah.
Back here,
yeah, it's really it's got a lot of acetone or something in it too, or something. I forget what I remember reading about that, but yeah. Here we go.
I wonder if there's any sort of makeup tests if you're aware of that Pierce. Oh, there you go. And is that Bride or is that son of Frankenstein? Maybe
that's
right?
Son, I think. Yeah. Looking at Boris's face there, looks like Son.
Now, the makeup. Now, remember, like Henry Hull did not want a lot of makeup when he played the Werewolf of London.
Mm-hmm.
Was there any? Did he have an initial type of makeup? Because Jack Pierce did the makeup for Island of the Lost Souls too, right? I mean, he had to.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, and I just wonder if he had an early concept, if that exists today of what he wanted for his 1935 werewolf film, and then had to wait 6 years later and finally got his chance to do that.
There is pictures of that. It's very similar to the Larry Talbot makeup.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. It's got the snout.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love the Werewolf of London. I think he's. I love the fact he wears that cap and the coat with the. He takes time to dress nice.
Yeah, he had a smoking jacket at one point.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a well-dressed monster.
Yes. Did Pierce do the makeup for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
No,
he didn't.
The one with
Frederick March.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Let's see Jack Pierce's credits. Let's see if it's here anywhere. Wolfsbane. I was curious what Wolfsbane is. It's Wolfsbane is a genus of over 250 species of flowering plants belonging to the family Recalula. I mean, does it bloom at night? Oh, it looks pretty cool. Well, learned something new today. Now, Graham, if I can ask you a few questions about this.
Sure.
How do you feel that the classic werewolf makeup for Chaney in the Wolfman, how does that fare compared to the other Wolfmen? Going all the way back to 2010, to today's 2010 or 10 years ago now, the Wolfman with Bennett.
The Rick Baker one?
Yeah, even to the Rick Baker. How do you feel that Pierce's iconic, because I feel it's still, top 2, 3 of the makeup, right? You know what I mean? Compared to the new Wolves. Do you like that? How do you feel it holds up?
I think it holds up great. It's got its issues. Obviously, everything is buttoned up, so he doesn't have to do anything above the neck. The long sleeves, I mean, even in the Wolfman, when he first turns into the Wolfman, Larry is sitting there in a wife beater with his pants rolled up as he sees the hair come. But then we see him change, and he goes out and he's stalking in the woods, and the camera pans up, and we see him, and he's taking the time to put on a shirt and button it up.
That's right. I never noticed that. Wow.
So it's something about werewolves that they feel the need to be dressed when they go out. Obviously, Henry Hall too.
That is fantastic, and you can see them wondering, oh, what if someone? Yeah, no one's going to notice that. Don't worry about it.
Well, here's another one. Like if you watch Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, he gets. He gets lost down in this in the blown up castle or something, and everything is frozen. And no, it's not Frankenstein Meets Wolfman. It's the next one. It's House of Frankenstein. When they come upon him, he's frozen in ice, and they thaw him out, and he's the Wolfman. Then you see him change, right? So he comes out, and now he's got his shoes on.
Oh,
so like he's got like a big pocket or something, and he keeps his shoes in.
He just keeps his shoes
back to Larry. He can stick his shoes back on.
Yeah, there you go. It's like those old movies. You see some of the Tarzan ones, and you see the extras, or they're natives or the Indians in the cowboy movies, and they're wearing wristwatches.
Hey, did you ever notice the scene where the Rita, that's the boat in Creature from the Black Lagoon, is trolling down the river, the Amazon River, and the trees are in the background. People are talking in the foreground, and in the background, all of a sudden, a telephone pole goes by.
No, I didn't see. No, I didn't notice that. Oh, now
that one's classic.
That's great. Yeah, see, these movies I love so much, and I have such an emotional attachment to since I was a kid.
Yeah,
I don't want there to be flaws, But I think that's amazing.
As an adult, I look for those things because I find them so fascinating and fun, because then I see the technicians and the stuff that went in behind it. And nothing is perfect, I love that kind of stuff. The funny thing in this movie, too, is like, you watched it today, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Remember, how about the scene where William Warren is the doctor, and he's so damn condescending,
I know.
Well, Lon Chaney is saying, you can tell me what you want, but you can't make me believe I killed a man and not a wolf. And Warren Williams like, yes, we're all confused.
Yeah. And then he takes it to Ralph Bellamy too, and he's like, you've got it. And they joke about it for a second, like, and I won't question you.
Oh yeah.
Until you tell me it's okay to.
Yeah.
Larry's just crying for help.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is, and now, and we can poke fun at this now. Movie's 80 years old, but when they bring Larry in after he's attacked by Bela Lugosi and he's bitten, and there's blood all over his shirt and his clothes, they don't look to dress the wound.
Exactly. then they look the next morning and the wound is gone, and they're surprised that, well, you must have imagined it. And it's like, well, you didn't look. You saw the blood everywhere. You didn't patch them up or anything. You just stuck them into bed.
That one, yeah. And it's like, oh no, don't you worry. Put on a tweed jacket and just go on out and go into the moors and go look for a wolf. But that and the another cool thing was that Evelyn Ankers with her long hair. This is the twilight because of the war. The next year, all the women started having really short hair because of the Rose of the River thing. They didn't want the women. Remember Veronica Lake? They made her. She cut her hair. She's in that publicity still of her hair getting caught in some gears because these women don't get killed and chewed up by these machines.
Sure. Yeah,
but look at her. She's just running through the moors and the fog, and her hair is just blowing. She's got her heels on.
Mm-hmm.
And there
my favorite line in that whole movie is when Evelyn Ankers comes across Maliva, the gypsy woman, and Maliva says, "You come with me," and she says, "No, I have to find Larry. I must find him," and she says, "Come with me, or he will find you."
Oh yeah.
I love that line. I love the way she says it too, and then the look of stark horror on Gwen's face is just absolutely fantastic.
Oh,
Come here, he will find you.
Now, if you play that, if you could repost that publicity shot of the two of them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was taken for an artist to make an artist interpretation. Not that one, the one of him holding Evelyn.
That one?
Yeah, you see how he's doing that? That attack on her is so violent.
Yes.
When he attacks her and he grabs her by the throat, he's shaking her like a rag doll and he's making all this sound, and all of a sudden then Claude Rains comes running in, and even Claude Rains' battle with him is really, it's one shot, and you just see them going at it. They hit the ground. I don't know if it's really Claude Rains, I'm sure it's some stunt man, but they're just going at it. It's great. And he's very animated, the Wolfman, and he's it's just great. Great.
That's Chaney though. I mean, when you see him as Karis the Mummy too, he's so visceral. I mean, he's so violent with his other actors when he's throwing them around and shit. Yeah. And he and Evelyn Ankers did not get along. They didn't really like each other.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it started because they gave her and Gwen or another actress. The studio gave them Chaney's a dressing room, and they did it because Chaney was getting drunk with Broderick Crawford and Andy Devine, and they would clear the furniture out and have wrestling matches and fights in these trailers and just tear the shit out of them. So to punish them, they gave her the trailer to these two girls. And so they get together on this movie, and he's like, "So you're the one. I don't think that's very nice." And she's like, "I didn't have anything to do with it." And from that point on, like he was always pulling like sort of mean-spirited jokes on her. And
because they were in a couple of movies together, weren't they?
Oh, quite a few. And then Richard Denning almost got to blows with him one time.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm not familiar with that either.
Yeah. They went at it one time. Denning was on leave. He was in the service. He was stateside, and he said, and he visited her on the set, and Chaney was like ragging on him like he wasn't like really serving his country.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And so Denning, said, what did you do for your nation? I'm in uniform. What did you do? That type of thing. And, they almost went at it a couple times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Brian Shockey wants to know how tall Lon Chaney Jr. was. He's listed as 6'2".
Yeah, he's got to be 6'2". He's a big dude.
He's listed as 6'2". And Patrick Knowles was 6'2" as well, and they look like they're pretty much eye to eye.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably accurate.
It's also a funny thing, an interesting thing. What about when he is macking on Evelyn, that he spied on her with a telescope?
Yeah.
Up in her apartment.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, it was nothing. I was just testing the reflector or something." He's like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "How do you know?" It's like, "Well, my dad got a telescope, and I was watching you through the window while you're getting dressed."
Yeah. I love that scene when they first meet in the in the Conliff store, and she's getting a little nervous about this creeper, and she says, "Well, maybe my dad can help you," and he's like, "No, that's okay." And he does this thing with his fingers, like on the table, like he kind of goes pop pop pop, like he's thinking, and he does that with his hands, like well, if I can't have the earrings, maybe I'll get a cane, and then they walk over to the way the cane is.
Yeah,
I just love the little bit of business he does,
Yeah.
I think that was a great little just actor thing that worked out really well.
Yeah, absolutely. You have a question here. Speaking of flaws in our favorite movie, The Thing from Another World.
I saw
when they
that.
first fly. Oh, yeah. What is it? Yeah.
First fly over the saucer crash site, you see the bulldozer that plowed the circle and the wreck site. I don't know how many times I've seen that movie, and I've never noticed that, but that one's coming up. That's gonna be the Halloween version of 31 Days of Monsters, is The Thing from Another World. So I will be rewatching that and looking for the bulldozer.
Yeah.
Don't ruin it for me, man.
Yeah.
That was like my perfect movie.
Is that your perfect movie?
Oh my God, yeah. Hey, I just had a thought. What if he can read minds? He's going to be pretty mad when he gets to me.
You got Dead Punk Gage, about Abbott Costello Meets Frankenstein is the best of the series. I wouldn't say it's the best, but I think it's a great movie. Of all what a great curtain call, I think, for the Universal Monsters. Do you agree? I mean, I think it's a wonderful film.
It's the greatest horror comedy ever made.
Yeah.
No two ways about it. And on that subject, have you ever read this?
I can't see it. You got the thing over it. No.
It came out in the 90s. It's by Jeff Roven, who used to work for Atlas was it Atlas? What was the spinoff of Marvel Comics in the 70s? Wasn't it Atlas?
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, this book takes place right after Abbott and Costello Meets Frankenstein. It takes place in the castle at La Mirada.
So it's a story. Oh, okay. So it's a fiction story.
Yes.
Okay.
It starts off in 1948 after Bud and Lou, or Chick and Wilbur, row away, and what happens thereafter. And then we flash forward to modern day, and a relative of the what was her Jane Randolph. A relative of Jane Randolph has now taken possession of the castle. Now, don't forget, the Wolfman is there. He went out the window with Dracula, and he got washed underneath where the boats were and stuff like that.
Okay. Yep.
That area got walled off, and he's alive back in there, and he gets released in modern day. And Larry Talbot is there, and the monster is in the water, because he went into like a coma after he got turned on the fire.
Yeah.
The whole thing goes from there in modern day. It's freaking amazing. They even talk about Chick and Wilbur and what was his name? The Frank Ferguson guy, McDougal. They talked about
McDougal. You have a shirt on that, don't you?
yeah. And they talked about McDougal, a werewolf, or a wolf-like creature was spotted in the Everglades, because it takes place in Florida. And remember, McDougal got bit by the Wolfman. So McDougal got turned into a werewolf, and he was running around. I mean, he covers everything. And it's really, really an excellent, excellent book.
I'll be
It's
damned.
expensive if you can find it. It's a real collectible.
Oh, it is. Okay. I was on Amazon.
I think it's like $100 on Amazon.
Wow. Or I'll just do the thing. I'll go to my local library and just check it out and say I lost it.
There you go. See if you can find it. But it's a great book. It's really good. So that ties in with Abbott and Costello. But
Todd Jane says, didn't Richard Denny end up as the governor in the classic Hawaii Five-0? Because I think he's buried there with Evelyn in Hawaii.
Yeah, he was, and they wanted Evelyn to be the wife of the governor, but she was fed up with acting and said, "Nope, I'm happy. I retired years ago, and I have no interest in coming back." So yeah. Why don't we say hello to some of these folks in the room?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Over here, Let me scroll all the way back up for the first people. Oh, I gave the Universal Monsters sketchbook to Billy, and he did a super Creature from the Black Lagoon sketch.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Do you remember doing that?
I do. I think that might be the only time anyone's ever asked me to do the Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Now, Wayne Osborne wants to know what Jerry Tucci's favorite monster is.
Jerry Tucci's favorite monster is Billy Tucci. No, I'd say it'd be Debbie Tucci.
Oh.
Jerry's a rascal. They hate each other.
Yeah, we all hate Jerry. He's a dick.
Jerry's a dick. I don't know. I don't know who is it. The beast from 2000. What is it? 2,000 Fathoms or something?
20,000 Fathoms.
20,000 Fathoms. That movie scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Oh, remember when the cop gets eaten?
Yeah. Oh my God. I was at my grandma's house and I remember I was like a little kid. I'm like, why doesn't God just kill this thing? I was like probably 4 or 5 years old. I remember that, you know?
Well, it took Lee Van Cleef to kill it.
Yeah, it did.
Angel Eyes.
Yeah, if anyone's going to do it, it's him. That's for sure.
Yeah.
The makeup back then was beautiful. Yeah, CGI killed makeup.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Makeup is great. You know, when Rick Baker did the Wolfman in 2010,
Yeah.
Most of that was practical, you know, and then the studio wanted to add CGI into it. And that sort of drove him into retirement. He didn't care for that. I loved Baker's makeup in the 2010 version, but I have to differ with him in his choice for the eyes. He made them. He let the human eyes show, you know, and I felt it would have been scarier if he gave him the yellow wolf eye.
Yeah.
I didn't. So one thing that always turned me off was the eyes. You know.
Yeah. You know what else? You know what else was great? Remember that television show? It was short-lived. Werewolf. What's that?
Chuck Connors.
Yeah, wasn't that a great show? Oh man.
Yeah. And the werewolf was named after the Night Stalker's vampire, Janos. Geez, I just did the Night Stalker too. Janos something Chisney. It's like a Polish name. Gosh, I can't remember it now. But yeah, that was Chuck Connor's name of the werewolf.
Wow.
Scorsese.
Scorsese. Okay.
Scorsese.
How do you feel about the film The Curse of the Werewolf? I don't know if are you covering that film? Because I don't want to.
I'm not. I felt it was boring.
Yeah.
You know, it's like took way too long for anything to happen.
Yeah.
You know, Oliver Reed's makeup was really cool to look at.
Yeah.
And that's a beef of mine with a lot of the Hammer films is I find them a bit slow. You know, the pacing on them. You know, some of them are good, better than others, but you know, some of them. Did you ever see Dracula AD 1972?
Now I think I did. What's the setting for that?
Discos.
Okay.
It's these Satanists, these young hippie Satanists, try to, you know, they do this black magic thing to resurrect Dracula, you know, and it's Austin Powers meets, you know, Hammer films. It's just it's so much fun to watch because it's hysterical because of its era, but. Yeah, a lot of people hate that one, but I love it.
What was the film? There was a film, and someone said Billy the Kid Meets Dracula posted about it, that it was horrible. I don't remember ever seeing it, but I remember I couldn't sleep one night, and I had to be in junior high.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember coming downstairs and putting on the TV, and there was this horror film, and it was like a woman in a bathtub, which I think, and this vampire comes through the ceiling, breaks through the ceiling, and it scared the living shit out of me. I had to be in, I don't know if we can cuss here. I had to be in 7th grade or so like that. I remember just terrified. I had nightmares after that. And I loved it though.
Was that that movie?
I don't remember. All I remember was like, I think it was a woman in a tub and snow maybe. And this vampire crashes through the ceiling. And that's for some reason, Billy the Kid Meets Dracula sticks out to me, but I don't remember. I just heard it was awful so I never really had the, you know, the desire to watch it.
Interesting.
I don't know if you're familiar with that scene or if you've seen the
movie.
movie.
Familiar, but I don't remember if it's from that movie or not. Hyper Kaiju's a regular here. He says Alan Ankers is a babe.
Oh yeah, she's an uber babe.
Let's see. Right.
Great, nice gams. Well, nice everything. Look at his avatar. That's great.
Yeah, that is awesome. Look at that. There's stories about Dennings wanting to fight Chaney because of his on-set antics. Yeah, I kind of covered that a little bit. He didn't like the way he was treating his wife either.
Well, yeah. Well, what if you got a guy being a dick to your wife? Those guys were, they were like men. They weren't like these actors today. These soy boy and sissies and shit like that. They were,
they threw down
ass kickers, man.
Yeah. Geez. Chaney, he would just get a few belts in him and start fighting.
Yeah.
And that's why he didn't have a trailer.
That's right. Have you seen his last appearance as the Wolfman on film or television with the Route 6? Obviously, he did the Route 66 series.
Yeah. And
with what's her name, Joni from Petticoat Junction, that actress. Oh, what beautiful! You know what I'm talking? What's her name? If I do, it's Owl's Wing and something Houndstooth and Owl.
Yeah. That was the title of the episode.
Yeah, fun episode.
Batwing and Owls, something like that. Yeah.
Route 66 and Route.
Chaney, Karloff, and Peter Lorre.
Yes,
we're all in that.
And it was a fun shit, man. Can you imagine being a kid and that comes on? You know what I mean? Like it had to be the greatest episode if you're a monster kid.
Oh yeah,
right. I mean, it's got to be 1963 or something like that, right?
Yeah, right.
And where's that episode though with the monsters? Just great. And I'm going through it right now. That Buster Keaton was on the show. Joey Brown and Buster Keaton were on that show too.
Were they?
Yeah.
Wow.
But what's that actress's name from Petticoat Junction? She was in a few films. She was in Blue, Electra Blue with Electra Glide and Blue.
Right.
With what's his name? Mickey from the Little Rascals ended up murdering his wife, Robert Blake.
Oh, Robert Blake, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Let's see, seasons. Where's seasons?
Petticoat Junction. Linda Henning?
Yes. Wait, what's her name? What's it?
Is it Linda Henning?
It was Joni something, maybe.
Meredith McCrae.
If you go to Petticoat Junction the first season, you'll see who it was.
All right. Well, I'm on Petticoat Junction. Here's the complete cast.
She's an older sister. Maybe it is Linda Henning.
What'd you think her name was?
I thought her name was Joni something. Jones.
Oh, Janine Riley?
Janine Riley, that's it.
She played Billy Joe Bradley?
Yes, she was a knockout.
All right, let's see what she looks like.
Oh yeah, you'll see what she looks like.
Oh yeah, there's Electra Glide.
Yeah, and if you can do her in and she's very sweet in Route 66. So if you do her name in Route 66, I'm sure there'll be a nice picture of her.
All right.
I would assume. I mean, it's a popular.
She was also on Yeehaw.
Yeah, she was one of the Yeehaw girls. Yeah. But how cool is that? It opens up with Chaney as the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And he comes walking in the room, and there's this little boy sleeping, and he comes up, and the kid turns around. He's like, "Hi, Grandpa."
Did you ever see that Kay Kaiser movie?
The what movie?
It had Bela, Boris, and Bela, Boris, and Peter Lorre.
I don't think so.
Who goes there?
I don't think I've seen that.
No, that's
For
not. No,
shame,
that's
Billy Tucci. For shame.
Let's see, K. Either. I didn't spell it right. I'll just look up Peter. Oh, My wife just texted me. You'll find out. Julie's watching the show and she's upstairs. She just texted me because she likes that movie. You'll find out. That's what it's called. You'll find out.
Okay, thank you. How are you, honey? Good to hear from you. This is interesting what Rob Fellows said. If you saw that, does the full moon aspect of werewolf law start with this movie? I don't know.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, right. Because
almost everything started with this movie. I mean, it's the only thing that pre-existed was silver, and that goes back, to at least the 19th century. About silver, being able to kill a werewolf, but all the other stuff was made up by Kurt Siodmak.
Interesting.
Yeah,
it's a lot
of research, but I don't know. That's the research I checked. It seems like that's it. Oh, that's a Hollywood rumor that Chaney also had terrible breath. Well, I mean, if you're constantly drinking, if you're
smoking and Gable too, right?
That would do it.
Yeah, you hear about and that's what what's her name? Vivian Leigh said, that she deserved the Oscar just having to kiss Clark Gable in Gone with the Wind because of his terrible breath. His breath was supposed to be horrible.
Oh, yeah, because he had his teeth done. He had false teeth.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He had really bad looking teeth when he first got to Hollywood, and they the studio fixed them all up. But I'm sure the dental technology was not what it is today.
Yeah. It's funny, those stories, right? I mean, didn't they, like Frederick March? They Tyrone Power. They pinned his ears. He had big ears.
They did that with Gable.
Oh, they did, but I think they did. No, I don't think they did with Gable, because I think Gable's always shown with his big ears. But Tyrone Power, they literally they pinned his ears back. They tied his ears.
That's interesting.
Yep. Excellent.
What was the vampire western where the sheriff cut a cross into the tips of his bullets to kill the vampire? Was that the John Carpenter one? Vampires? John Carpenter.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, I do too. I can't remember what it's from.
I'm not sure. Next full moon here is the 31st of October.
Is it really?
Wow,
that's pretty cool.
We got invited to a Halloween party for the first time since I can remember. And but I usually light the fire pit and I have everybody come by, all the parents and people just hang out. We just drink our faces off.
Cool.
And there's Buddy. What's his dog's name? Buddy?
Who?
Lon Chaney. The film's running now. Lon Chaney's dog?
Moose.
So you can see him playing with Moose, and Moose is probably having a good old time. His tail's probably wagging. That's why he's behind the tree. He's probably like, I'm sure there's no sound. This because he's probably like, rah, 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 like having him. This is like the greatest thing. Dad's playing with me for 2 hours straight.
I think at the time they made this, it was a Moose belonged to a prop guy, and they used him because he was so big. But Chaney fell in love with the dog. He bought it from the guy, and then it was his dog and his pal from there on in.
Oh, okay. And the Pop XP, and I'm supposed to be doing a show in less than a minute.
Oh,
I don't think I've loved the Wolfman. I can have my friend Stephen Peros on. I can call him right now from 7th grade, and he'll tell you that my favorite monster when I was young was the Wolfman. Here's an interesting story. Do you remember the Dick Smith makeup kits that you could buy, and you could make the monster makeup kit? You could be either the Hunchback, the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or something else. And I opted to be Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but of course, the more spirit gum you had, and it wasn't quite yak hair like Chaney had, but it was some kind of hair, and you put yourself on, and it had the teeth. It looked a lot like Frederick March's Hyde. And it was 7th grade, and I had a cape, and I had a hat. I think it was a bowler hat, and I wore a tie and I probably a suit I had, whatever, and a cane and a big knife, one of my mother's steak knives, carving knives. And I went around the neighborhood at night, banging on people's back windows and stuff like that. And all of a sudden they call the cops. There's like 3 cop cars running, and I'm running through the woods away from the cops and all, and the shining lights were because they had said that someone had called that there was a crazy old man threatening people. And I remember running into, I jumped over the fence. My dog bit me. My dog, Cinda, didn't realize it was me when I jumped over the fence. And I'm running. I jump over the fence right to my house. My dog comes, bites me in my back leg. And I get in the house like that. And I shut the door. I'm like, and I go into the bathroom. I look at myself. And, the latex nose is just dripping down. Like,
That's funny.
That's my great monster moment. I think I had done it for 7th grade. I for Halloween, I went to school like that. And then I did it at night. And I terrorized my neighborhood.
That's great.
It was fun. That's how I was able to become a monster.
Well, Rhymes with Orange clears up the Clark Gable thing for us. He says Gable had a bad infection in his gums before antibiotics. He almost died. The doctors pulled his teeth to drain the infection. This was during Dance, Lady Dance.
Wow.
That's the film that has the 3 Stooges in it. Yeah. Yikes. That would suck.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Rhymes with Orange's next quote. Next post.
Let's see. This one?
Yeah.
It was because he missed shooting by almost dying. He was punished by being lent out to a lesser studio. He and Claudette Colbert. The film was the Academy Award winning.
They both won Oscars for that.
Yeah.
Nice gams, Claudette Colbert, too.
She was so funny because she was so adamant about what her good side was. I believe it's her left side. So every scene is set up so that they photograph her left side.
Wow. Yeah. My wife's like that. Like, she has a better side. And when we take pictures, like, no, I'm over here. And she's been doing that since I met her in college. And I never understood, like, what. Yeah. I think my backside's my best side, old chum.
You can bounce a quarter off that ass.
That's right. Smack it. Tap that ass. Smack that ass. So what's your, again, I agree with you. Graham, you had covered it. I think the makeup's great. The movie's okay. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It was all right.
There's a director's cut version, which is infinitely better than the one I saw at the theater, because it expands upon relationships more. So it makes it a better film, but it's still not a great film.
Yeah. Did you like Del Toro? Did you think he was a good choice to play Larry Talbot?
Well, he's got that hound dog, pathos look, but he played the character a little under. He seemed like he was half asleep half the time. I don't know. He wasn't very energetic. It felt like to me. You agree?
I agree. Absolutely. 100%. Thought an Englishman should have played him or something.
Hyper Kaiju says Billy and Graham is almost too much masculinity for one stream.
Actually, more testosterone.
We don't sweat, we ooze testosterone.
That's right. Quiénos más machos. Anyway, my friend, I have to go.
You gotta run?
Yeah, we have a show at 9. We have a great show at Pop XP. And that's if you guys go to the Pop XP, it's live right now. Now it went live. And then on the 30th, hopefully Graham will join us for the next installment of A Century of Horror, where, as I had mentioned early, on the Pop XP, it'll be 9 p.m. on the 30th of October, Friday night. So we'll be drinking. And it's going to be we're going to focus on the films of 1934 and 1935. And and just what could that be? Those 2 years we'll see the golden age of Universal monster or horror films. I don't know. In my opinion, I kind of feel it might be that 24-month period was just amazing. The amount of films that came out and the quality of them. But also, we're also going to be talking about one of the greatest movies of all time, in my humble opinion, the 1934 classic Babes in Toyland, a.k.a. Laurel and Hardy in Toyland, aka March of the Wooden Soldiers.
The Wooden Soldiers.
With the bogeymen.
The bogeyman.
Yeah, because they were terrifying.
Henry Brandon.
Yeah. Remember he grabbed the bogeyman grabs a little kid, and the kid's screaming, and this monster grabs this kid.
You know what the creepiest thing in that whole movie is?
I know.
Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
Mickey Mouse. It's a monkey dressed up as Mickey Mouse.
And it's really Mickey Mouse. Walt Disney gave them permission to use it, right?
Yeah. They were a lot looser back then.
Yeah, and he's flying that blimp, and he's throwing out those little and then he gets hit. He's hit.
Yeah.
And he parachutes down. And the thing lands on top.
Oh, that's funny.
So great.
That'll be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
you know what? I might even cover that. I might do a show. I don't know if any of us have time to do Thanksgiving, but maybe the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we do a show on the March of the Wooden Soldiers. Would you be into that? And just
you got to do Kong and Son of Kong if it's Thanksgiving. Because
that's true. We can do. Maybe we do Thanksgiving films. We do Son of Kong, Mighty Joe Young, Kong, and March of the Wooden Soldiers.
Oh man. That could be a fun stream.
Get a little group of guys, and we could, show the footage without sound, so we don't get busted. But by George, I think that's a great idea.
Well, you go right over to yours. I'm gonna pop in there in a little bit. I just gotta answer a couple more questions here and say goodnight to the fans. And
I want to stay in here too. Look at this. How would you do a Werewolf by Night film? And that is probably Werewolf by Night, aside from Captain America, is my favorite Marvel character.
I love Werewolf by Night.
Me too.
Yeah, Jack Russell.
Yes, Jack Russell. What a great name.
Yeah.
And just the werewolf aspect of it,
One of the first comics I ever bought was Werewolf by Night number 18. Had this great Ron Wilson cover of the werewolf fighting a black werewolf on this roof, and a girl like on the parapet, like cringing back like that. And so it was like two werewolves fighting on this cover. It's like, man, I couldn't throw my quarter fast enough to the counter.
There you go, buddy.
It cost back then, folks, a quarter.
Well, all right, buddy. I'm gonna get going because I don't get fired from my
okay. I'll
job
over there in a few minutes.
All right, brother. Everyone out there, thank you guys for having me. You guys are great. I love you, Graham. You're one of my favorite people in the industry. I'm so glad we're friends. I count you one of my best friends, especially we never see each other. But we probably get a lot of trouble if we did.
Oh, well, when we do, it's always epic.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. To say the least. So, all right, brother. And we'll go fishing someday.
See you in a little bit.
All right. Good night, guys.
See you, bro.
Bye.
All right, gang. I hope that was enjoyable. The ever energetic Billy is always a lot of fun. He's just a great guy, and he knows his stuff. So let me see if there's any questions here that have popped up that I've missed before I pop over to Billy's show. Dracula AD 72 is actually my favorite of the Hammer Dracula films. Yeah, like I said, that's funny. Johnny Rando, Johnny Alucard. That was Chaney's name in Son of Dracula, Count Alucard. Like they couldn't figure out that was Dracula backwards. Let's see here. Pepper Kaiju says the boogeyman scared the hell out of him when he was a kid. They were creepy. That's a creepy movie, but it's so much fun. I always love it. My kids would never watch it. When they were little, I bought like a VHS tape of it, and I couldn't get them to watch it. Or my wife. Julie doesn't like it either. And I mean, I grew up with it. I can't understand it. Oh, statistical zero. Oh, wah, wah, wah. Came in too late. Oh, well. You can catch the replay. It'll be fun. All right. That should wrap this one up, guys. I've got a movie on tap for tomorrow that you're going to have to watch ahead of time. I'm telling you. Because if you haven't seen it, this movie is gonzo. It's called Horror Express. I think it's 1972. And it's got Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, and wait for it, Telly Savalas as a Russian Cossack. This movie is like a mashup of The Thing from Another World, The Thing, John Carpenter's Thing, Night of the Living Dead, and Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express. I know it sounds crazy, but this is a really, really interesting and cool gonzo movie. It's called Horror Express. I believe you can watch it on Amazon Prime. Check it out if you can, but we'll be talking about that one tomorrow at our usual time of 8 in the morning. So thanks so much. And that should do it. I would link Billy's show. I just got to request a link Billy's show. Let's see if I can get that for you guys before we sign off here. Hold on a second here. It's Pop EX. Tag me in it. Let's see, where the heck is that? Facebook is getting screwy on me. Oh, here we go. Crap, that's tomorrow's. Oh, I know. Here we go. We'll do this. Hard. I'm working on it, folks. I'm working on it. Subscriptions. Here we go. Huh, it's not listed here. Only tomorrow's. Oh, wait, here it is. Here it is. Okay. Link address. Here we go. I got it. There we go. Oh, Rob Fellows says Horror Express is on Internet Archive. Don't know about the quality though. It's probably crap. It's probably pretty crappy. But if you do watch it and you like it, there is a Blu-ray version which is beautiful, so you can get that. So I put it in. I put the link in the comments here if you want to port on over to Billy's show, and we'll continue that nonsense there. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 a.m. and have a great night. Bye-bye.